Yes, okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I know that you miss, okay, now present in our CheonBo Youth Education, our beloved brothers and sisters coming from the whole Asia Pacific. Asia Pacific 1 and Asia Pacific 2. Did you miss each other? If you miss each other, why don't you give us your heart reaction? Okay, let's show our love to everyone. Sarangamnida, everyone. Thank you so much. It's been a long time, of course. I would now welcome you to the first ever hosted by our HJ Heaven and Earth Chonbo Training Center, the Heavenly Asia Pacific branch, working with IAYSP, Heavenly Asia Pacific 1 and 2. We are now having the Chonbo Youth Education Program 2021 with the team HJ Chonbo Youth Living Saints for World Peace. Let's give that a round of applause. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, and of course, this is not your regular youth education program. Why? Because the whole spirit world is with us. We will have our Chanyang Yoksa session. Today is the practice, but today we will have that official. That's why all our absolute good ancestors is with us. Can you feel your ancestors with you? If you can feel, give me another heart, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so moving on to officially start our Chonbo Youth Education Program. It is my honor to welcome you to give us the opening prayer, the national leader of the Heavenly Parents Holy Community FFWPU Nepal, Reverend Prakash Tapa.
Good morning, good afternoon. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, almost loving, our most beloved Heavenly Parents, our two parents of heaven, earth, and all humankind. Beloved Heavenly Parents and our two parents, thank you so much for this great privilege. Thank you for your love and your blessing that we have received every day in our life. This is our great opportunity to begin this our Chombo Youth Workshop from today. We truly invite the Holy Spirit to come down and to be with us. Please guide this entire workshop that our brothers and sisters truly understand you, understand the heart of our beloved Heavenly Parents and our true parents, especially the heart of our beloved True Mother. As our True Mother is leading this second 7-year course, may this workshop can guide our brothers and sisters truly understand our True Mother's deepest heart, and we can truly able to offer the heart of gratitude and thankfulness every day, Heavenly Parents and True Parents. May this workshop can unlock the heart of our brothers and sisters, understanding our True Parents' teaching, understanding the heart of our beloved True Mother, beloved Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Please guide our lecturers, and through this workshop our lecturers can able to give and deliver the words of our two parents, and may our brothers and sisters truly understand the blood, tears, and sweats of our beloved Heavenly Parents and our two parents. Please guide our all the brothers and sisters to become more loyal, more filial, and more spiritual Heavenly Parents to parents. And may this Chombo Youth Workshop can able to lead our brothers and sisters in the new level of the God's providence, Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Please allow us to begin this workshop, Heavenly Parents and True Parents. I would like to report and offer this prayer on behalf of all our family members, brothers and sisters gathered here. In our name, Prakash and Mary Jane, a blessed and family of Changilgu. This all I pray. Aju.
Aju, Aju, Aju. Thank you so much, Reverend Prakash Tapa, for that very heartfelt prayer, opening prayer. And may the heaven opens the heart of all our participants to receive education coming from our respected VIPs and lecturer. So with this, I would like to say thank you in the presence of our VIPs and lecturers who will make this CheonBo Youth Education a very meaningful, not just for the principal, but for our life of faith and our spiritual life as well. First, I would like to say thank you to the chairman of Choniwon Asia Pacific, my ba, your ba, and the ba of everyone, Dr. Robert S. Kittel. Thank you so much, Dr. Kittel. Yes. Next, I would like to say thank you to the president of HJ CheonBo Asia Pacific Branch, whose vision is not just to usher in to help the spirit world, but to educate our young people. Thank you so much, Reverend Dr. Kim In Chon, for bringing this vision in Asia Pacific.
안녕하세요. Have a good time.
Yes, thank you so much. Next, I would like to welcome the lecturer of HJ CheonBo Asia Pacific Branch, Dr. Edgar Tanate. Thank you so much, Dr. Edgar. Next, I would like to say thank you to the training coordinator of HJ CheonBo Asia Pacific Branch, Mr. Pongon Hangam. Thank you so much for guiding us. Next, I would like to welcome the director of BFD Asia Pacific 1, the mother of all, the tita, the auntie, and the friend, the sister, Mrs. Ursula McLachlan. Thank you so much. And we have with us also the powerful team of IAYSP. We have my twin brother, the regional president of Asia Pacific 1, Dr. Kim Sui Tang. Thank you. And present with us today, the vice presidents of IAYSP in both AP1 and AP2, Reverend Sutin, Sribun Plaeng, and Mr. Daniel Meadows. Thank you so much for attending. Yeah. And yep, okay, so moving on, we'll be now listening to special remarks, okay, to be given by the president of HJ CheonBo Asia Pacific Branch. Ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters in our life of faith, let us all welcome Dr. Kim In Chon.
Hello, I sincerely welcome you to participate in CheonBo Youth Education Program. I hope you have a great time today. Thank you.
안녕하십니까. Namaste, Sawadika, beloved YSP members, second generation members, and other youth members. I'm so happy to see you. It is such a precious thing that we could meet each other today. We are all connected, so let's reach out to welcome each other with a big round of applause. I'm very grateful to be here today with Asia Pacific Choniwon Chairman Dr. Robert Kittel, Asia Pacific 1 Breast Family Department Director Mrs. Ursula McLachlan, Asia Pacific 1 YSP President Dr. Tang Kim Suri, and Asia Pacific 2 YSP President Ronnie Stosa, and with the more than 1,000 of you who have registered for this CheonBo Youth Education Program. I hope that all of you who are here today will gain a deep understanding of purity, and that we must keep that in mind as a Hyojung value as well as preparation for the marriage blessing. Also, I hope that you can also gain a deep understanding of true parents, who are the roots of true love true life and true lineage. In addition, I hope this will be a meaningful time for you, when you can learn about what kind of mind and attitude you must keep in order to live successful and happy lives. 효정 means the heart of children who know their parents' hearts. Filial sons and daughters offer 정성 in order to safeguard and honor their parents' hearts. Without parents, nobody can be born. The most fundamental moral principle for human being is to become children who are devoted to their parents. I hope that all of you will grow up as leaders who can first offer filial heart toward your parents. Probably you have heard from a lot of people around you that to become a great person, you have to be careful about what you say and do. But I think that in our lives, even though we try to be careful with what we say and do, we have experienced finding ourselves unexpectedly making mistakes. Isn't that right? Beloved brothers and sisters, where do our words and action begins? We don't speak or act without thinking first, do we? Sometimes we do say something or do something without really being aware of what we are thinking. But when we make up our mind to do something, it is something we have a thought about. This is why I want to emphasize to you that we have to be careful about what we think. You have to make an effort to think good thoughts as you live day by day. When we go to crowded and distracting place, or if we often watch pornographic or violent videos, we cannot easily keep our mind focused on good or desirable thoughts. Even though we cannot see it with our eyes, the invisible substantial world, the spirit world, absolutely exists. Even though we cannot see it, it is similar to the world of our minds, which we can feel and experience. Please keep your mind and body's health by separating evil spirits through 찬양 역사. From that point of view, the excellent lectures that we are going to hear today will help us to be able to keep our minds focused on good thoughts. If each of you here today can open the doors of your mind and concentrate on receiving some new wisdom, I am confident that you will learn something which will begin a small change in your life. Can I hear an Aju? Aju. Our time together here today is short, but it is my hope that your heart of 효정 can be revitalized through the lectures and the 찬양 역사. Also, I hope that it will help you to prepare for the blessing and to develop into excellent youth leaders. With this, I will conclude my opening message. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Wow. Thank you so much, Reverend Inchon Kim, for that very special remarks. And as he said it, we have to open our hearts and concentrate on receiving new wisdom through this CheonBo Youth Education, where through our lecturer, we can learn about the hearts of Hyojong, purity, matching, blessing, and 찬양 역사. So everyone, please do not sleep or else your ancestors will doge you. So let's concentrate in achieving more wisdom. Okay, now we'll be having our group photo. Okay, so I would like to encourage everyone to please open your camera and smile together with your hearts of Hyojong. Smile from your Hyojong heart, okay? Those who do not smile, okay. Technical, are we ready? Okay, now let's smile first. 3, 2, 1, smile. Hyojong, smile. Yeah, okay. Next, let's open our Hyojong hearts. Okay, please give us your heart sign. Saranghaeyo. Everyone, we love you. True parents, we love you. Heavenly parents, we love you. Okay, and next pose, Sungni. Okay, Vision 2027. Sungni, Sungni, Sungni. Smile. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. My God, you open your camera and I can see how beautiful and handsome you are and your ancestors. Thank you so much. Okay, now we will move on to the first lecture of today's of the day one of CheonBo Youth Education Program. But we would like to remind everyone that after this lecture, we will have question and answer time. So if you have questions, please do not hesitate to put them in our chat box and our helpful staff will cater to your questions. Thank you so much. Okay, now I would like to welcome the first lecturer, none other than Dr. Robert S. Kittel. You know, everyone, Dr. Kittel received his doctoral degree from the University of Bridgeport in Connecticut, USA in 2004, specializing in family values-based education for teenagers. That's why he is for us. He has lived and worked in Asia since 1975. Says what? Currently, he is living with his wife in Philippines, and they have 2 lovely daughters and 1 grandchild. Dr. Kittel is currently the Director of Education of UPF Asia Pacific and our Choniwon Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to welcome Dr. Robert S. Kittel.
Thank you, Ronnie, for really your enthusiastic introduction. It's contagious, so I am inspired to give as much as I can. Dr. Kim In-chun, thank you for the invitation, and the other president, Dr. Kim Suritang, thank you. The other lecturers, Ursula is there, so many people to thank. If I thank you all in person, then I will have no time to speak. So let me move on, if I may, and share my screen with you and begin the presentation. Thank you for all of the participants. I don't see the number now. Well, it looks like 217, and I'm sure there are some watch parties together. Thank you, thank you, thank you for taking time. It's really important. I believe this can be a life-changing experience for you. Now, we cannot go to Korea to meet True Mother. COVID has stopped that. So I think this is an opportunity for us to yearn in our heart, to pray, and to meet True Mother in spirit. We can do that. And honestly, if you have that experience, sometimes that's more powerful than just meeting True Mother physically. Of course, we want to do that, but anyway, that possibility is there. Let's begin. Heavenly Asia Pacific Branch, CheonBo Youth Education Program 2021. The theme of this program, HJ CheonBo Youth, semicolon, Living Saints for World Peace. That's who we are, and that is the theme of this program. I was asked to give a presentation on the topic, Hyojong and Purity and Historical Perspective. So I will speak about 3 things. Guess what? I will speak about Hyojong, I will speak about purity, and then I will speak an historical perspective. Hyojong. Hyojong, my first topic. In English, as Dr. In-chun mentioned, it's heavenly heart or filial heart. And the root of this word comes from filial piety, which of course is a Confucian kind of idea. And in filial piety, if you study it, it means the love of a child to the parents. And that's a wonderful, good thing. Filial piety focuses on this vertical love of a child for their parent. But Mother said, that's not enough. That's not clear enough. We need a mind as clear as crystal in order to have strong heart and determination. So she introduced the word Hyojang. It's a Korean term coined by our true mother. It means filial heart, not just filial piety or filial love. It integrates the internal quality of selfless love found in filial piety, applying it to all 6 relationships within the family: the parent-child, brother-sister, and husband and wife. So if we look at the graphics, it would look like this. It's not only the children's love to the parents, but it's the parents' love to the children. It's not only the older brother, older sister, younger sister, love to each other. And it includes husband and wife love together. So in my mind, this is Hyojang. In other words, it's like filial love, but in 6 different directions. And all those different directions start moving around and you get a wonderful sphere or circle. And that can therefore be eternal, and they nurture each other. True Father said this in his autobiography: the basis of love is the heart that sacrifices everything for the sake of others. The reason parental love is true love is that parents are willing to give everything to their children. And when they've given everything, they still want to give even more. Wow. So we can say Hyojang is where the parental love is injected into all 4 realms of heart. Let me explain. We have the 4 realms of heart that we all know: children's love, siblings love, conjugal love, and parental love. We know that. So within children's love, this is the love between parents and children. And that is the foundation. That is the foundation for the next love, the siblings love, the brother and sister love. But it's not just, do I love my brother and sister? Do I have a feeling for my brother and sister? No. What is the quality of that relationship? How do you treat your brother and sister? And in that, the love of your parents should be there in the center of that. I will treat my brother and sister as my parents would treat my brother and sister. Therefore, I cannot mistreat my brother and sister. Never. Because it would hurt not just my brother and sister, it would hurt my parents. And then that is the foundation for conjugal love. And that is the love of a husband and wife. But it's not just loving each other. I love, or I have a feeling in my heart for my spouse. No. How do you treat your spouse? How do you care for them? And that means you take the parents' love. I love my spouse as my parents would love my spouse, as true parents gave them to me. So I can never misuse my spouse. Never. The idea cannot even enter my mind. And then when we have the parental love, that's the husband and wife love. And of course, inside that, how do I treat my children? And then we have the heart of a parent to treat our children. To me, this is kind of the explanation that I like so clearly in my heart. This is Hyojang, where at the center of each of these loves, there is the parental love, this unconditional, total giving. I never want to hurt. I only want to help love. This came from where? True Mother. She didn't think of this intellectually. She's sharing with us her experience, her heart. So what is the nature of true love? Mother explains that, and I think one of the best explanations that I have seen is from Mother's autobiography or memoir. When she met True Father for the first time, I love this. I'll share it with you. I greeted Father Moon politely, and as he returned the greeting, he asked my mother, "Who is this child?" "This is my daughter," she replied. With a look of surprise, Father Moon gazed at me as he said to my mother, "You have such a pretty daughter." He then closed his eyes, as if in meditation, and asked my name. I politely replied, "My name is Hak Jahan." He began expressing gratitude to God, saying, "You sent such a magnificent daughter named Hak Jahan to Korea." And he said that 3 times. Then True Father spoke to me, means True Mother, as if he were asking me to gather my resolve. "Hak Jahan, you will need to make sacrifices in the future." "Yes," I replied, surprised at my own forwardness. On the way home on the train, my mother and I thought the encounter was curious. As we fell into silence, I contemplated the word sacrifice. The word Father Moon used took on a meaning different from what I had learned in textbooks. What he was alluding to was a higher dimension of sacrifice, a nobler, more complete sacrifice. What you sacrifice is important, but why? Why you make that sacrifice is even more important. I thought about what I might need to sacrifice. From that day forward, the word sacrifice was engraved in my heart. Thinking back as the person called to live as the mother of peace, I realized that over time, sacrifice became a name that I would call myself. What you sacrifice is important, but why you make that sacrifice is even more important. Mother had this thought at such a young age. This is amazing. This was the heart of True Mother when she accepted her position. She was not told it's going to be glorious and magnificent. She told it's going to be a sacrifice. So we look on the outside at True Mother and we have the term Mother of Peace, rightly so. But how does True Mother look at herself? Mother of sacrifice. That's the heart of Yoja. And that's why she coined this term. Later on in her memoir, she also said this, and it applies to each of us at our own blessing ceremony. The marriage blessing ceremony conducted by the true parents is the sacrament rooted in a single-minded devotion. It is a ceremony of true love, and true love embodies sacrifice. A poet once said, "Love is the pain of giving up yourself. Joyfully, without hesitation, again and again. We cannot achieve true love without offering sacrifice." Wow. Therefore, we can understand now why the family is so important and why we as young people have to prepare for this important family building program in our life. It's more important than anything that we do. Parents must honor their children. Children must honor their parents. Every religion, it doesn't matter where you're from, Buddhism, Hinduism, Confucianism, Christianity, Islam, every religion says honor your parents. We have a Nepal members from Hindu. Your mother is God, your father is God. If you honor your parents, then you will align your mind and body. Your public mindedness will be in the correct order. Not just loving yourself most, but loving someone else more than you love yourself. That's the seed. That's the seed. And that is called filial piety. But then it expands, of course, as we've seen, and it takes every dimension of love. It's at the heart of every love that we have. And it develops good character within us. It develops a conscience, a North Star. So if you are worried, anytime in your life, young people, if you are worried, well, is this right or wrong? Shall I do it? Shall I not do it? I'm not sure. Very simple. Close your eyes and ask yourself, will this make my parents happy? Your mind will become crystal clear immediately. Immediately. Will this make my parents happy? Then you know, then your original mind. You answer that question, it'll be very clear. Father talks about living for the sake of other. Mother talks about hyojang. What's the difference? We have two parents. They're teaching us the same thing. They're trying to teach in different ways. That's wonderful. We are so lucky. We are so lucky. Outside people are confused about this point. This is the most important question that you can answer. It'll give guidance and direction to your life. Living for the sake of others. Our responsibility before we get blessed, this is as an individual, is to align the mind and body in the proper order, giving priority to public mindedness over the desires of the body. That's what we are called to do as individuals. Both the mind and body are necessary. Both are created by God. They are both good. But the alignment of the mind and body is more important, and that is our priority. Animals do not do this. They do not have this responsibility. Their behavior is just built in. We are not animals. This is the primary reason why we are not animals. Primary reason. Jesus taught us, be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. Now we know what it means. Jesus answered the question, well, how can we reach perfection? What does it mean? Can we reach perfection? Yes. If you want to be perfect, Jesus said, go and sell your possessions and give to the poor. Then come and follow me. In other words, Jesus said, if you want to be perfect, you have to be perfect in your heart. You have to be willing to give. And this is the challenge that we have. We sometimes think, if I want to be successful, I have to take. If I want to be a successful businessman, how much money can I acquire? If I want to be successful as a politician, how much power can I acquire? If I want to be successful in academics, how much knowledge can I acquire? What can I take? But in the perfection of the heart, it's the opposite. It's how much you can give. Because selfishness is the enemy of true love. This is Father's favorite Bible verse. Whoever seeks to gain his life will lose it. The dichotomy is here. But whoever loses his life will preserve it. Father must have read this Bible verse and instantly it clicked in his heart. He remembered it and repeated it again and again and again and again. If you read Father's speeches, you will find this Bible verse frequently quoted. Another one, let no one seek his own good. Wow. But the good of his neighbor. So our responsibility, very simple, learn to give. Learn to give. If you want to have strong muscles, then what do? You have to repeat again and again. You have to sweat and exercise. You sweat and exercise, and you do the same thing again and again. You lift those barbells again and again and again, and you can build muscles. What about learning to give? We have to practice again and again and again until it becomes habit. Father said this, to realize that we exist for the sake of others. That's a great achievement. Great achievement. That's the transition from immaturity as a child to maturity as an adult who is now ready to get blessed in marriage. Wow. It's a great achievement. Great achievement. When we realize that our life is not ours alone, but is meant to be for the sake of others, we begin to follow a path different from the one we were on. Well, we're on the path of maturity. Children naturally think of themselves. They don't have the capability, the capacity. But adults, if adults act that way, it's called selfishness. And if the adults do that and they keep doing it over and over again, then we put them in jail because they can't control themselves. So we will control you. Society will control you. Wow. How much we've learned. Shojung. I spent a lot of time on that because it is the most important. I'll go quickly through this next one because I think you know this already. Sexual purity. Sexual purity. Fear-based purity. I was the head of Pure Love Alliance in America. So, and that was my doctoral degree is in that area. So I know a little bit about this. This is the concept of fear-based purity in the outside world. Number one, don't get a disease. What's the solution? Yeah, wear a condom. And number two, don't get anybody pregnant or get pregnant. What's the solution? Contraceptive. Don't get accused. Don't have somebody accuse you later. Oh, he had sex and I didn't have consent. Oh, then get consent. Now you almost have to have it in writing or videotape or something. So this is the outside world concept of what we call CCC sex. A condom, a contraceptive, and consent. And then you can have any time you want to, then you're free to have sex. This is a lie. This is not free sex. This is just, I want the pleasure of sex, but I don't want any responsibility. This is selfish sex. Just for me. I don't care about my partner. Don't care about the future, my parents, my future children. Just pleasure. Wow. Contrary to that, love-based purity, or as whatever mother is doing, everything she touches, she puts two letters, HJ, HJ Magnolia Business, HJ Building, H everywhere. Why? She wants us to learn something. This is her brand. This is her message. And she's going to say it again and again and again because it is so important. Instead of love-based, let's call it HJ-based purity. Repeating myself, how do I treat my brothers and sisters? With my parents' love. I cannot misuse. I cannot misuse. This will hurt my parents. How do I treat my spouse? With my parents' love. So before my spouse is my spouse, they are the son and daughter of God and true parents. How do I treat my children? With parental love. Mother said this, we marry to resemble God. Husband and wife together reflect the original nature of God. So that means this mother has given us the answer. What is the uniqueness of human sexuality. This mother gave the answer. People are so confused about this point. What is unique about human sexuality? Well, it's unique from what? From animal sex. Well, if you ask people, why do you have sex? And they will say pleasure or procreation. And I will say, that's right, but that's what animals do. That's not unique. Animals have sex for pleasure and for procreation, but it's not unique. What is unique? What is the purpose of human sexuality for human beings different from animals? Mother just gave us the answer. To be in the image of God. Husband and wife should be bound together in the image of God. And so the conjugal relationship between husband and wife, they have that relationship even though the woman is infertile, in menopause. Animals don't do that. So we are supposed to make love all the time. Even when we're young and healthy, yes, we can have children. And when we can't have children, we should still make love. And in the spirit world, yes, we can't have children, but we can still make love. Oh, adieu. In conclusion, and I might end up going a little bit early, but I think that will be okay. My last part, an historical perspective. Well, let's take the most historical perspective, not just an historical or any historical perspective, but let's take the most ancient, the oldest perspective on Hyojang and sexual purity that we can find. And where do we go? We go to the Bible. Genesis 1:27. The original ideal of creation. I'm sure you know the verse. God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Semicolon, new sentence. Male and female, he created them. So, whoa. So there are two different dimensions that we're talking about here. That man is to be in the image of God individually. And that's the first part. That's Hyojang. Each of us are created with the potential to be in the image of God. As Jesus said, each of us has the possibility to reach perfection. That's Hyojang. That's Hyojang. The second one, male and female, he created them. That is sexual purity. So it means that we are created in the image of God individually, and as Mother said, we are created to be in the image of God together as husband and wife. This is very biblical, and yet for 2,000 years, Christianity has not clearly understood. This is what true parents are giving. They're not asking, Christianity to check out the Bible. They're saying, let's use the Bible to understand God's original purpose of creation. And the next verse, Genesis 1:28, we know this one already. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and multiply and have dominion over everything upon the three great blessings. Three great blessings: to be fruitful, to multiply, and to have dominion. The first one, mind and body should be centered on God. We know that. And then this is how we reach perfection. Perfection of individual character in your relationship to God. Learning to live for the sake of others. Hyojang, as Mother calls it, right? The second blessing, a perfected man individually, a perfected woman individually, come together and complete each other. Man needs woman to be fully man and vice versa, centering on God, and then God gives them one of the most precious gifts as a couple. The love that a man and woman together, God is saying, I'm giving you the power to recreate my children. They're your children, but they're God's grandchildren. And grandparents, I'm now a grandparent. Grandparents love their grandchildren more than their own children. Children don't mind. They love that. That's what they want. So we create the relationships of love. The third blessing, of course, humankind in relationship with all things of creation. Take this perfection, this public-mindedness, and this loving relationship, and that's how we care for creation. So our topic is what? Hyojang. So the first blessing, Hyojang. The first blessing is Hyojang. The second blessing, sexual purity. Those two are the most important. If you get that right, the third blessing is automatic. It's automatic. We will build a heavenly culture of goodness. Heavenly culture of goodness means what? The laws that we create will be good. Politicians won't use laws for their own personal well-being or gain. The movies that we make will be good. The internet will be good. The education will be good. The media will be good. The religious education, or in some cases, we may not have religion, but in essence, the education within the realm of philosophy will be good. We will create a CheonBo culture. Not just CheonBo families. We will create CheonBo villages, CheonBo cities, CheonBo municipalities, CheonBo regions, CheonBo nations, and a CheonBo world. This is how we do it. So it means we are all participants. No one is a spectator. We are all participants in building this CheonBo culture. Wow. We can see something very clearly here, and this is probably an important point of education for the young people. The fall of man was not simply the misuse of love, of sexual love. The fall of man was not simply the misuse of sexual love between Eve and the archangel, and then later between Eve and Adam. No. The misuse of sexual love created a lineage, a satanic lineage, which is why Satan is called the ruler of this world, or the god of this world. But the cause of misusing love was the lack of Hyojang in the heart of Adam and Eve. God poured out his heart when he created everything. And we looked, 6 days of creation. And God said, it's good. Everything that God created, it's good. And at the end, he said, it's very good. Did Adam in the Bible ever say, thank you? I never read that. Did Eve say, thank you? God was talking to his children. God gave the commandment to Adam, do not eat. Did Adam say thank you? Or did he ask a question? Well, what do you really mean by that? Or could you explain yourself? Or could we talk about this? No. Eve had a question. She was given the commandment, do not eat and do not touch. The stimulation, as a man, the stimulation of touching a woman is very powerful. God told Eve, don't eat and don't touch. Eve had a question, that's fine, no problem, but who did she ask? God gave the commandment and Eve asked the archangel. That's a Hyojang problem. That means her heart is not connected to God. That means she's more comfortable talking to the archangel than her father. That is the fall. Then they misuse love because there's nothing to protect them. There's nothing to guide them. So the fall of man was a combination of lack of development of Hyojang and the misuse of love together. Jesus connected Genesis 1:27 with Genesis 2:24. The first part, Genesis 1:27, we just read that. Haven't you read? Jesus replied, at the beginning, the Creator, quote, made them male and female. So the second part of the Genesis 1:27, that we are made in the image of God, it says very clearly, male and female. Then Jesus adds and connects that to Genesis 2:24. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and cling to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So clearly, Genesis 1:27, image of God individually, and here is proof. The second part, image of God together as man and woman. Jesus told us that. It's so clear. So what did Jesus mean? Well, look at two parts. Leave your father and mother. Leave your father and mother does not mean goodbye. Does not mean I will live somewhere else. I will pay my own rent. That is not what it means. And even Christians have misunderstood this. Why Father is teaching us 3-generation family is the idea of the grandparents should live with their children and their grandchildren. So what does it mean to leave? Well, when a baby is born, it leaves the womb. It doesn't separate from its mother. Now it actually grows closer to its mother because now the mother can give milk to the baby. So to leave means to be born. If you leave high school, they call it a graduation. And your last ceremony at high school is called a commencement. You're now going into the world. So to leave can be what? It can be you're going to be born or you're going to graduate. What are you going to be born from? You're going to be born from the position of child. You are in the position of child to your parents and brother and sister to your siblings. But primarily in this relationship, you are now going to graduate from this position of child and graduate into the position of husband and wife. And you will be given the responsibility, the love that can create new life. Cling to your wife means the relationship should be husband in the image of God, wife in the image of God. They come together and amplify that image of God. And the two become one flesh. Chun il guk. Two become one flesh. That's what the Bible says. Chun il guk. This is where it happens. Two become one flesh. We're bound together in the image of God. So what does this mean? The first one, leave your father and mother. This is Hyojang. What we are talking about. This is Hyojang. You should be living with, attending your parents in the position of child. And then you are born from this position. You graduate from this position and your sexual purity. So it means if you're not married, no sex. If you are married, you stay faithful. Filial. So what is the historical perspective? Hyojang and filial piety was at the very beginning of creation. It was God's purpose, design, function, the way that we should work. It's so important. My second to the last slide. In the Garden of Eden, Hyojang and purity were absolutely essential to fulfill God's ideal and purpose of creation. That's a historical perspective, the most historical. From HJ-centered individuals would emerge a marriage, a family, a society, a nation, and a world of HJ. Hyojang. The blueprint for the kingdom of heaven on earth should have been established in Eden. And it's these two things. Live for the sake of other and honor marriage. You honor marriage before you get married, by the way. The blueprint for the kingdom of heaven on earth should have been established in Eden. It was based on two things, Hyojang and sexual purity. There is an English saying, it may not get translated well, but I think you'll catch it. When all else fails. In other words, if you buy a mechanical or electronic gadget from the store and you cannot figure it out. Well, how does this thing work? Or I knew it should be working like this, but how do I make it work like that? In the internet age, we'll just Google it, right? But in the original packaging, of that particular product, they will have this warning sign. Read and understand the operator's manual before using this machine. Failure to follow operating instructions could result in death or serious injury. This was God's warning label. We are so confused in our society. Now it seems more than ever. We need to go back to the original design and purpose and function of what it means to be human as an individual and as a couple, husband and wife together. I want to thank you so much for your time and for your attention. You allowed me to give, and I enjoyed myself. I hope that it was educational. Thank you very much.
Yes, Aju. Thank you so much, Dr. Robert S. Kittel. Once again, let's give Dr. Kittel a round of applause. I'm sure everyone is so excited. Our chat box is flooding with questions, Dr. Kittel, and I hope you are prepared for it. Meanwhile, as you drink your water, please allow me to recognize our VIPs in our audience attending this CheonBo Youth Education Program. I would like to say thank you to the National Leader of Malaysia who is with us today, Reverend Lai Peng Kiong, and also the National Leader of Bhutan who is with us here today, Reverend Binod Dangi. We have also the presence of the President of IAYSP Pilipinas, President Rene Lansangan. We have Mr. Berendas Restra, Mrs. Mary Jane Tapa. Thank you so much for really gracing our CheonBo Youth Education with your presence. Okay, so Dr. Kittel, are you ready?
I'm scared.
Okay, thank you so much. First, I would like to give the question of two anonymous person. They want to remain their name anonymous. One is from the Philippines and one is from Asia Pacific. Their question is somewhat related, so I'm giving it to you at once, Dr. Kittel. So the question is like this. How to explain or educate to people who were abused by their parents? I think it will be hard for them to understand this teaching. So that's the question. Once again, how to explain or educate to people who were abused by their parents? I think it will be hard for them to understand this teaching. And then similar to that one, another anonymous gave a question, and it goes like this. For a child who has some resentment towards his or her parents, how he will be able to cultivate hyojong. Once again, for a child who has resentment towards her parents, how she will be able to cultivate hyojong. Those are the questions.
Can I give anonymous answers? Very good questions, actually, very, very good questions. Let me take the first one. How do you explain, this concept to a child who has been abused by their parents? Actually, they will understand very quickly, very, very quickly, and very deeply. And the important thing is not to allow the child to look at the past and pity themselves, because that will not be healthy. That will increase the resentment and the difficult relationship that they had with the parents. So the point is the child has to find some reason to be grateful. And if the child comes and hears this presentation, they will be so grateful. Wow, this is what this is the way I want to lead my life. I don't want my children to go through what I had to go through. They will be so grateful, so quickly, so easily. One time, for example, I was in the state of Wyoming in the United States, and we were proposing to create a pure love education program at the school. And one of the teachers stood up and said the same thing. Basically, he said, my child doesn't have a father. And you come here and talk about, your ideals of, purity and marriage and family. Do you know, Dr. Kittle, that you are going to create, resentment in that child, and you're going to hurt the self-esteem of that child? What gives you the right to come here and hurt the self-esteem of that child? And I was shocked and silent. And then another lady, another teacher on the other side of the room said, can I ask the question? I said, good, yeah, let her answer the question. I was inexperienced and kind of wondering how to answer the question. And she said, I also come from a broken family where my children have just one parent. And she said, nobody is fooling anybody. There's nothing to fool around. This is not a game. Nobody's being deceived. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. If there were two parents, that would be better. Better for the husband and wife, better for the children, better for the family environment, better for the community. Everybody knows that. And she said, what I don't want is to teach my child that single parenthood for one reason or another is equal to the loving two-parent family. Because if I teach that, then my child cannot change. So I'm looking at the future of my child, not the past. Looking at the future. So someone who comes from that experience, they need special counseling and they need more time, but they will understand this teaching very easily and very quickly. That is my experience. The second question, can you repeat that? I've got some notes. There's something about resentment.
Yes, Dr. Kittle.
Yeah.
For a child who has some resentment toward his parents, how will he be able to cultivate Hyojong?
I don't know any child who thinks their parents are perfect. But the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Dhammapada, the Adi Granth, the I Ching, all of them say, honor your parents. They don't say, love them. They don't say, love your parents. Honor your parents. So if the Bible and these other holy books said, love your father and mother, then anyone can think, well, if you have any feeling at all, even the smallest feeling toward your parents, oh, well, that's love, and I've fulfilled that commandment. It's okay. Let's move on. But that's not what they said. Honor means you must do something. Do something. And if you pray about it, you can find out what that something is. Let me give just a few examples. So when we left as missionaries in 1975, and Father sent out all the missionaries all over the world, 120 Americans, Germans, and Japanese, Father said one thing to us: write a letter to your parents twice a month. We couldn't call, we didn't have internet, but we had these aerograms. It's kind of like one thin piece of paper that you fold 3 times and put an address on it. And so I did. I wrote to my parents twice a month, every year I was a missionary. And I know this touched my mother's heart because she kept the letters. When she died and we went through the things of the estate, then there was a shoebox. And when my wife was there, I wasn't able to be there, my wife opened the shoebox. All of these aerograms were there. And wow, my wife went through and read each one and gave them to our children. So you can do something. And maybe you can do it, maybe you can take out the garbage without being asked, or cook a meal, or repair something, a sink or a drain, or sharpen the knives, or you can do something. And silently in your heart, you can say, I'm doing this to honor my parents. Ultimately, you need to start talking to them. This communication is very, very important. That's what Adam and Eve failed to do. In the Bible, it looks like there's no communication between Adam and Eve, between Adam and Eve and God, between the parent and the child, between the father and his son and daughter. So ultimately, you need to start talking. Get some help. Again, get a coach, an elder, a religious leader, or somebody that you can trust, and begin to share this with them. But don't share it with the expectation to get sympathy. That will just keep you where you are. You want to get out of this relationship, and you want to do something, not just to have pity and feel that you're the victim, but look to the future. Because if you keep that attitude of victim or pity, then that will hurt you. And then that will close your heart. And then you won't want to give. Well, my parents didn't love me, so I don't have to give to anybody. And your heart will be, boom, closed. But we have to open our heart. And you open your heart by giving. For example, we have just 1 minute. Let me close there. Maybe there's one more question. But yeah, let's take one more question, Ronnie, so that I don't use all the time just with these two. But very good questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Actually, there are 5 more questions, Dr. Kittel, but let me give you one. Okay. So here is another one who wished not to share his name. Okay. This is the question. Based on your experience during your youth, what are the best practices that you've done to protect and keep your purity? Once again, Dr. Kittel, based on your experience during your younger years, your youth, what are the best practices that you've done to protect and keep your purity?
I will give you an honest answer. I have 20 seconds. We didn't have the internet when I grew up, so I didn't have that difficulty that everybody faces today. But it was very simple. I would close my eyes. Close my eyes. Because I love to go to movies. And in the movies, they always have part of the movie is the sex scene and the music changes, and you know it's coming. And you know, they're in the room together, they're alone, and they're talking, and the music changes, and you know the sex scene is coming. So I'm in the movie hall. I can't get up and walk out, but I close my eyes because I don't want to see that. I don't want those images in my mind. They're difficult to take out, so better don't put them in. And then you can hear when the scene changes and the music changes, and then it goes on to the rest of the movie. So that's how I did it. I just closed my eyes. That's my answer. We're out of time. Thank you.
Yes, wow. Thank you so much. Okay, everyone, always remember, close your eyes. Okay, but not in this program. Okay. Thank you so much. And as I said, Dr. Kittel, there are still questions who is here, but I would like to say sorry to all those who ask questions because of the time constraint. We cannot entertain all your questions. However, in the following lectures, we might open it up again, and we will ask Dr. Kittel and other panelists to answer your questions as well. Thank you so much. With this, I would like to close this question and answer on our first lecture. Once again, brothers and sisters, let's give hand to our Dr. Robert S. Kittel. Thank you so much for the new wisdom of Hyojong and purity. So moving on with our program, we will now be inspired with an intermission number. Okay, coming from our talented younger brothers and sisters in IAYSP Thailand. They'll be showing a dance performance entitled This Is Me. Let's enjoy and watch this.
send you to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send the blood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. This is me.
Wow! Thank you so much, Thailand, IAYSP. And if you are from Thailand or not, please give your heart to that performance. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Kopon Cup. Yeah, and of course, before we move on, I would like to shout out to our active participant, Professor Dr. Shiram Prasad Upadhyaya from Nepal. Namaskar. Thank you so much for your active participation. And just in case, if you want to shout out your beloved mother, father, brothers, and sisters, just comment it down in our chat group. This is the CheonBo Youth Education. Moving on, we will now watch a Pure Love video entitled Pure Love is Healthy. Everyone, please turn your eyes on screen and let's watch this meaningful video.
sa sitwasyon mo ngayon, malabo kang tanggapin ng kumpanya dahil positive ka sa sakit na HIV.
Then later on, yung yung consistent na yung cough until may na siya, may mga blood.
Hindi ko talaga siya matanggap sa sarili ko na ba't ako nagkaroon ng ganun.
Parang siguro kulang lang ako sa parang care. Parang I tried to find it to other people.
So marami po kasi social media, maraming tukso. Kaya po pag ikaw ay nawawala ng guidance galing sa bahay nyo o galing sa pamilya mo, madali kang matukso.
Hindi ako lumalabas kahit gusto ni nanay na lumabas ako. Pero sabi ko ayoko kasi nga parang that time is nahihiya ako baka ano sabihin nila, yung mga kapitbahay.
Because of the pressing issues today regarding teenage pregnancy, AIDS, and family breakdowns, we propose a solution, and we call it the Pure Love Education. We advocate in the youth purity before marriage. It means we need to remain pure until the time you get married. In other words, you need to wait for the right time in God's perfect timing. As we observe, many parents today don't teach their children well about love or marriage. Most parents aren't able to give enough love to their children. So these children tend to find love in anywhere else. And that's why they get into problems in our society. Pure Love Education aims to strengthen the family through the responsible and moral youth to secure a strong society, nation, and world.
Pure love is love dwelling from a pure motivation of living for the sake of your partner, of having a relationship not out of physical desire, but because of a desire to love him or her. Develop together and live for that someone for the rest of your life.
Ju, indeed. Thank you so much for that video, and let us all become pure love advocates. Moving on, we will now have the Pure Love Pledge. I would like to ask our participants to please turn on your video and raise your right hand, and we will have the recitation of the Pure Love Pledge to be led by Mr. Ronan Bias, the IAYSP Pilipinas Bicol Chapter President, and Ms. Rica B. Marfil, IAYSP World Synergy Champion 2020. Once again, open your camera and raise your right hand. We shall now have the Pure Love Pledge.
Pure Love Pledge. The love between a man and a woman is a sacred gift from God, to be cherished and honored for the sake of building good character, a loving family, a healthy society, a prosperous nation, and a world of peace for future generations. Therefore, from this day forward, I pledge to remain pure until marriage, as the best way to prepare for being faithful in marriage. So help me God.
Ju, for those of you who did your pledge today, okay, may we all have this commitment to uphold the purity before our marriage and fidelity within our marriage. Thank you so much, Mr. Ronan Bias and Ms. Rica B. Marfil. Okay, moving on, before our next lecture, I would want to read some of the comments on our comment section. Shout out to these people. From John Lord Cebu, Philippines, he said, "Thank you so much, Dr. Kitel. Pray and wish for your long life." Aju. And from James Secudo, he said, "HJ and purity." Aju. from Sham Kumarik Chodhari. Wow, power from Thailand. And lastly, I'll be reading from Malaysia. Chong Chun Zen, he said, great performance. Okay, thank you so much to our active brothers and sisters, participants of our program event for today. Moving on, we will now proceed with the introduction of Chanyang Yoksa. Okay, but before I introduce our next speaker, I would want to remind our brothers and sisters, our attendees, that this is just an introduction. This is not the actual Chanyang session. However, we are encouraging you to follow our lecturer in his administration of how to conduct the Chanyang. But please avoid doing Chanyang to your seatmates or your brothers and sisters. You are not allowed to do that today. Okay, thank you so much. Now, it is my honor to welcome Mr. Bon Pangam, the training coordinator of CheonBo Asia Pacific Branch. He was born in Thailand, and Mr. Pangam first studied electrical engineering in Thailand, then joined our movement in 2007. He was the CARB Center leader for 1 year and director of second generation for 3 years in Thailand. From 2019, he started to work for Hyojong, CheonBo in Heavenly Asia Pacific region up until now. Mr. and Mrs. Pangam were blessed among the 1.4 Cosmic Blessing, February 2010 at Korea, and are currently living in Pak Chong, Thailand. They have one son now who is 4 years old. Ladies and gentlemen, to give the introduction about Chanyang Yoksa, let's welcome Mr. Hongon Pangam.
Sadika. Hello, our beloved leaders and brothers and sisters. I am Honghan Pangam, CheonBo Heavenly Asia Pacific Branch Coordinator. How are you? Today, I would like to explain about Chanyang Yoksa. The Chanyang Yoksa is to remove the evil spirit, to liberate the evil spirit from our body. True parents said, Chongpyeong works is to liberate spirits who are attacked inside the bodies of humans. There are many evil spirits attacked inside our bodies. Chongpyeong works is to chase them out of you. Because of sins that we have or fallen nature that we have, is the way to connect to the evil spirit. They are control us, control our mind, control our body. So that's why many times we feel difficult to overcome. We don't like to think something like bad thing. We don't like to do something like bad thing, but we're not easy to overcome that. Finally, we did it. Finally, we do something wrong. And then make us suffering. Even though we don't like to be like stupid or what, like we want to have very good memory. Why my memory is not good? I want to be the like a smart boy, smart man. I want to have a talent, good talent, but why? But become like this because of the evil spirit that control in our bodies. So we have to remove. They are staying with us like this. They control us. They like this. Evil spirits in your bodies, centering on resentful spirits. Many evil spirits in the size of ant eggs or grains of sand are setting in an orderly way in your bodies. But through Shanyang Yoksa that work to remove the evil spirit from your body. The miracle happened during the Chanyang session when the angel and absolute good spirit are working through each person's hands. Through the clapping, cracks are created in the hardened spiritual body, helping the separation of evil spirit. Like this. So many small evil spirit, and also have the leader of evil spirit or the head of the spirit in our world, in our body. So we need to more work hard to take out that the head of evil spirit. And after that, the evil spirit that removed from our body, they will become the good spirit because they will enter the 100-day workshop in the training center in the spirit world that is taken care by the Hyunjinim Demonim. Then to join the Chanyang Yoksa session, we have to prepare to wear the white t-shirt and black long pants and take off all jewelry and watch and no makeup, and you have to wear the black sock and sitting like this if on the floor, and also on the chair we have to be like straight, your back straight. And when you do clapping, you need to make finger like this, not like this. This is like not good. And the attitude of your heart should be grateful, always like gratitude and repentance. Repent as a substitute for my ancestor. Repent for all sins and longing hard to remove fallen nature. We have angels in our hand, and through our hand, evil spirits are removed. We need to hit our spirit body and create cracks so angels and absolute good spirits can go through these cracks and remove spirits from within. With the help of one's repenting of one's own sins and ancestors' sins, its effect of Chanyang session is good. Like this, they removing like this, and the angel and absolute spirit will bring them to the 100-day workshop, 100-day workshop in the training center in the spirit. Then the part in our body that we will hit also in the head, in the frames, our neck, the front and the back, and the chest, and the stomach, and the leg, and the arms. And during the Chanyang Yoksa session, that we need to sing the holy song. The song is Praise of the Holy Garden. That we need to sing loudly for the all of 4 parts of the song, that many times until the end of the Chanyang Yoksa session. We have to sing loudly. We have to sing loud voice to support the power of removing the evil spirit. Like this. And I would like to share the testimony of participants. First, I would like to share the testimony of Mr. Sutin Sibunplan. He is the vice national leader of Thailand. He said, this time I experienced deep prayer, felt very empowered, felt the power of God and Father, felt lightened, felt spiritually heavy was released and embraced, felt forgiven in the things that I have done wrong. During the Chanyang session, I put a lot of effort in tapping my own body and my children. After the prayer session, I felt that an evil spirit has been released. Before the start of the Chanyang session, I had a big headache, but after that, the headache was gone. Thank you, Holy Parents, and thank you for the CheonBo Providence that really helping us a lot. And next, the testimony from Mrs. Deng Nusra Kacharin. She is a blessed family, like a PMC couple in Pak Chong district, nearby the CheonBo Pak Chong Training Center, Thailand. She said, I have a headache on one side of my head for a long time. But after I participate the Chanyang Yoga session, I recovered from this severe headache. So thank you very much for Holy Parents and two parents. So that's all my explanation and sharing to you. I hope you can receive some inspiration and also already have a power to join the Chanyang Yoga session as you. So now let's prepare to practice for the Chanyang Yoga session. We will do practice for 7 minutes. So let's prepare to start practice in the beginning part of the Chanyang Yoga session. That is shouting before the singer song. So when the main vocal said, Chojong clapping ready, then everyone raise hand like this and say, yeah. And then main vocal said, see, shut, everyone clapping 3 times. See, shut. And then the main vocal said, Holy song ready? And we answer together, yeah. And the main vocal will say, the holy song is Praise of the Holy Guardian. 1, 2, 3, 4. Praise feeling in the floor. Okay. You understand? Are you ready? Okay, let's practice one more. Here, John clapping ready? Yeah. See, John. Holy song ready? Yeah. Holy song is Praise of the Holy Guardian. 1, 2, 3, 4. Praise feeling in the floor with the light. Merciless blessing divine. Like this is an example. So from now we will start practice with the 7-minute video will guiding you. So let's prepare well.
Chojong clapping ready? Yeah! 시작! Holy song ready? Yeah! Holy song is Praise of the Holy Guardian. 1, 2, 3, 4. Praise ready before the light.
Let's
Ju, my God, that feeling. Thank you so much, Reverend Bongon Pangam, for really encouraging us about your introduction to Chanyang Yoksa. My God, did you miss it, brothers and sisters? Did you miss Chanyang? Those who became members of Chanyang team, did you miss your action and shouting? Because I missed that one. But before we move on to the next lecture, we shall now have a 5-minute break. Okay, so if you have, you can go to toilet, you can drink your water, but please be back before 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, rather, I should say. Thank you so much, and let's now declare this 5-minute break. Aju, I hope everyone is back. I can see there in the Omen. Everyone is coming back. Okay, thank you so much. While we are waiting for others, a quick shout out to these people. Shout out to John Paul Zaratan, Clint Clatero, and to Sergio Gialon Jr. Shout out to Reverend Binoch Dangi who said, I miss Chanyang. My God, we miss Chanyang also. Shout out to Malaysia, Lim Zeng Yan who said, thanks for informative sharing. Shout out to Conrado Bobier who says, shout out from Sunwa International Academy, Philippines. May heavenly parents and true parents bless us all. To Charmaine Mayo, I miss Chongpyong and Chanyang. Omer Onel said, thank you so much everyone from HJYLT. And lastly, shout out to Pornima Kalandi who said, first time, nice experience. Okay, thank you so much. Oh my God, we are all felt like one family here under our heavenly parents and true parents. Moving on, I shall now usher everyone in the next part of our lecture number 2. To be given by Dr. Edgar Tanate. It is my honor to introduce Dr. Edgar Tanate is the main lecturer of HJ CheonBo Asia Pacific Branch, the international lecturer of UPF Asia Pacific, and the national leader of FFWPU Sri Lanka. Dr. Edgar Tanate is an educator, physicist, military officer, martial artist, and a religious leader. He has a degree of Bachelor of Science in Physics for teachers and graduated cum laude at the Philippine Normal University in consortium with De La Salle University. He studied MSc Physics in De La Salle University and MBA, Regis with specialization in leadership in Ateneo Professional Schools. So many needs to say. If I read everything, we will end tomorrow hunduke. So I might as well end it here and welcome you, our dynamic speaker and inspiration to everyone, Dr. Edgar Tanate.
Good evening. Good evening, most especially to our Asia Branch President, Dr. Kim In-chan. Good evening to Dr. Robert Kittle, our 21 Chairman. Good evening, sir, to all our regional ISP Presidents, Sir Ronnie and Dr. Kim Sroy. Yes, good evening. And to all our leaders, brothers and sisters all over Asia Pacific. So my role now is just to make sure that all of you are paying attention to the next lecture. So may I ask those who are capable of doing to respond by typing Aju. Can you type Aju in that box? Let's see if you're really, Judy Lee is number 1. No, wow, so many, unbelievable. The spirit of young people is really amazing. You really inspired me. So I'll do my best to really inspire you also. Yeah, look at that. So many Adyo until now. Okay. Thank you so much. So please enjoy the topic. Please learn more, just like what we learned from Dr. Kito. And let's become wonderful leaders for the sake of the kingdom of heaven, a world of lasting peace. Adyo. Thank you very much. Beloved brothers and sisters of Asia Pacific 1 and 2, greetings from Hyojong Heaven and Earth CheonBo Training Center, Asia Pacific Branch. Today, I'm going to present to you a special topic entitled Hyojong and Purity, CheonBo Works Perspective. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen, everyone? Okay. Okay, so thank you so much. So, Hyojong and Purity, CheonBo Works Perspective. That is the topic we're going to discuss for today. We know that if we study the divine principle, we can understand that history started with the fall of the first man and woman, Adam and Eve. And that fall, as we know it, is actually because of the misuse of the most holy and sacred part of the body, which is the sexual organs. We know this from the divine principle, isn't it? But if you try to study it closely, we can see that the misuse of sexual organs is actually just the result or the effect of a certain cause. So they misuse their sexual organs. It is because they disobeyed God's commandment. They did not really connect with God's words. They're not so serious in their relationship with God. And when God gave them the commandment and the word, they did not follow it. They disobeyed. And this kind of action is actually a lack of filial piety, a lack of a vertical love of a child towards the parent. So in Korean word, our beloved True Mother gave a word for this, hyojong, that is filial heart, right? So because of the lack of filial piety, Adam and Eve eventually misused their sexual organs because they really disobeyed God's commandment. So the cause of the fall is actually lack of filial piety or hyojong, and the misuse of sexual organs is just like an effect. So filial piety or lack of hyojong is that like a vertical, while misuse of sexual organs is the horizontal. So lack of sexual organs, lack of filial piety is actually the main cause of the fall of the first human ancestors. We also know that because of the fall, hell was realized on earth. We can see the problems of drugs, alcohol abuse, sexual immorality among the young people, divorce, family breakdown, my goodness, hunger, starvation. In Africa, more than 60,000 people die every day because they cannot eat. We have problems of poverty, war, crimes, and violence. I believe some of us here, or if not all, had experienced this kind of problems in the society today. We have environmental pollution, climate change, garbage disposal problems. This earth is literally hell, where all of these problems can be found. So not only on earth, but hell was also realized in the spiritual world. The spiritual world is the place, or hell is the place where evil reigns. It is like the smell of rotting flesh. It's very frightening, and really spirits are in very miserable situation. The scenes that you can see there is that of war and torture. They were buried in sins, hardships, and pain. So all of these spirits wants to be liberated. Actually, based on God's original design, we should have been one with God. Adam and Eve would have become one with God. God, which is invisible, would have dwelt in the mind of Adam and Eve. As we know, we have both the mind and the body. The mind pursues the purpose for the whole, which lives for the sake of others. The body pursues the purpose for the individual, which is for existence, right? Living for myself. So both can harmonize actually in give and take action, but the mind should be the subject and the body is the object. So if God dwells in the mind and then the body unites with the mind horizontally, then our body will naturally what? Live for the sake of others. Living for others becomes a natural way of life, and then no need for education to be good. However, we know that this did not happen, right? Originally, God should dwell in our mind, and eventually our body becomes the body of God. So God will assume a body that touches and dominates all the things of creation. And our body would have become God's holy body, and God becomes visible on earth. Yeah, many people are asking, oh, why God is invisible? Where is God? I cannot see God. The reason for that, my dear brothers and sisters, is that human beings would have been the body of God. So we can see God through us, through human beings. God would have become what? Our, how do you say, heavenly parent, and we are the body. God is our mind, something like that. So, but however, because of the fall, mind and body actually fight. So Satan controlled our body through our bodily desire, and God is supposed to dwell in our mind. However, because the body became very strong, the body wants to become another positive. And since the mind will not give up being positive, because the original design for which it is created is that it should be positive, so positive and positive, war. So there is like conflict and war between the mind and the body. But the reality in this fallen world, brothers and sisters, is that Satan controls this world through the bodily desire, or the body of men. So the body became very strong and eventually controls the mind. So Satan controls humankind through our bodily desire. That's why the bodily desire becomes like the priority in our life. And living for others, which is the desire of the mind, becomes secondary. So we become materialistic, vices with the drugs and selfish kind of life, materialistic way of life. This is what happened to humankind since the fall of Adam and Eve. So the reality today is that this conflict and war between mind and body never ends for 6,000 years, from Adam and Eve, the time of Adam and Eve, until now. This is the situation of fallen man. And because Satan controls the body, what happened? You can see that layers of evil spirits are inside our bodies. In this book entitled Remarkable Healings by Dr. Shakuntala Modi, he testified here in this book that patients describe that both earthbound and demonic entities or spirits are arranged in many, many layers in the bodies, in their bodies. You can see here that our body is filled with these evil spirits or demons, and these spirits are actually influencing our lives. So, since Satan controls the evil spirits, and evil spirits go inside our body, these evil spirits influence us, and we can easily become angry, jealous, and do many, many vices like drinking, smoking, even drugs. And then the selfishness and the sins of our ancestors from the father side, mother side, grandmother on mother side, and grandmother on father side, these sins were inherited by us from generation to generation. We inherited original sin, hereditary sin, and many kinds of sin, individual sin, collective sin, and fallen natures. What are the influences of these evil spirits in our life? So because of these evil spirits, they can influence our emotion, our behavior, and we can easily be angry, greedy, cannot control our smoking, drinking, and other vices. Or these evil spirits can make many diseases like cancer and atopy by clogging our veins and make our skin rot, causing cancer, atopy, and many other kinds of diseases. So there can be two things that can happen to us if these evil spirits continue to control our lives because they are inside our bodies. Number one, we can become a criminal. Like, for example, there is one story in the Philippines published in the newspaper and even broadcasted in the television networks. There is a case of a person who killed 6 members of the family. And then when he was interviewed by the media in the prison, he was asked, "Are you angry to this family? Why did you kill all 6 members of the family?" And then he said like, "Oh, I didn't know about that. Everything was blackened. Everything became black. I cannot see anything. And then eventually, when I wake up, I saw already 6 dead bodies in front of me." My goodness, what kind of story is that? That means that this person is possessed by evil spirits. And these spirits probably are like resentful spirits who were maybe killed in the past, by the ancestors of this person. And because of that, he became really really angry to this family, 6 members of the family. Their ancestors must have been like a bad person who killed this evil spirit, and this evil spirit became resentful and then used the body of his descendant in order to take revenge. Oh, this is really a big problem. So if you will not become criminal, these evil spirits can make you victims. You can experience misfortune. You can be killed or raped or mistreated or harmed by evil spirits. So these evil spirits should really be removed from our bodies, isn't it? These evil spirits control us. They are in our bodies with certain reasons. The first reason can be they want to use our physical body to experience evil joy and happiness through our bodily desires. So they want to experience the joy of smoking, drinking, gambling, and they cannot do that if they're just spirits. They need a physical body to do that. So they use our body in order to do these things and experience evil joy and happiness. So also drugs, sexual immorality. Next, they use our body, they are in our bodies in order to take revenge to their enemies. They want to kill others. Like this example I told you in the newspaper, we call that spiritual possession. They will use the bodies of their descendants in order to take revenge to the people, to the descendants of the people who killed them in the past. Also, they use the body to kill their host body by giving diseases or sickness to the body, because that person is the descendant of the person who killed them or who harmed them when they were alive. So they use the body to take revenge to the enemies. Third, they hinder God's providence or God's will on the earth. So our physical body used by this evil spirit to persecute God's people, to oppose heaven's works on earth. How miserable it is. If these evil spirits continue to dwell in our bodies, this is really, our life is really miserable, and our life will really be affected heavily in a negative way. So this evil spirit should be liberated, should be released from our body, should be separated from our body. So Satan controls fallen man through the body. And because Satan controls the body through the bodily desire, it's really impossible to disconnect with the Satan, because we become children of Satan. We inherited the blood lineage of evil, and it's really impossible to disconnect with Satan. Reality today is that Satan controls me like a slave through my bodily desire since Adam and Eve's fall up until now for 6,000 years. So very difficult to really go back to God. Very difficult to really release ourselves from selfishness and many vices and many, misfortune in our lives. We are like in a hopeless situation. We cannot separate from Satan by ourselves. Really, really hopeless situation. That's why our beloved Heavenly Parent, out of His love to humankind, have sent our beloved true parents on the earth. So our beloved true parents were sent by our Heavenly Parent to save all of humankind from this kind of misery and problem, so that we can separate, we can divorce from Satan, and that we can unite with God. So we cannot unite with God if we cannot separate first from Satan. We have to separate first from Satan, and then we can unite with God. And we can do that by, by following our beloved true parents. Yes, our beloved true parents, the Savior had finally come on the earth. So by separating from Satan, divorcing from Satan, then we can be with Heavenly Parent. So God can love us as the son or daughter, and that God can dwell in our mind every minute and every second, and we can fulfill the original ideal where we can become God's body on the earth, not Satan's body anymore. So how is that possible? How can it be done that from Satan's body we become God's body, which is God's original ideal when He created Adam and Eve? How is that possible? Wow, brothers and sisters, we have the CheonBo works. No? Through the Chanyang Yoksa session, we can separate evil spirits from our bodies. So the central evil spirit, which is the most resentful evil spirit, can be and will be taken out from our body through sincere prayer at Cheongsimwon, lecturer's ansu, or offering of wish paper. So these central evil spirits disturbing us, causing us for us cannot control gambling, cannot control smoking or drinking, sexual immorality. These evil spirits can be taken out by attending the CheonBo works, Chanyang Yoksa session, prayer at the Cheongsimwon, lecturers ansu, and offering of wish paper. So this painting is actually the painting based on the vision of one of the participants of the Chanyang Yoksa session. She saw spiritually what's actually happening during the Chanyang Yoksa session. You can see here, many evil spirits being released from the bodies of the participants during Chanyang, and then these central evil spirits being pulled out by angels and by absolute good spirits. And all of these evil spirits are being released from the bodies of those who participated in the event. And then they were actually guided by a bright light from the heavens, from the spiritual world. And then they were naturally attracted to this light and followed this light. And eventually they go to the spiritual world. What will they do there? Let me read Father's speech here. Large numbers of spirits enter the body of each person. The spiritual work at Cheongpyeong removes these spirits from our bodies, and beams of light created by true parents guide those spirits, enabling them to ascend upward from hell in the spiritual world. Anyone is able to follow those beams of light. Yes, true parents' incredible power and amazing spiritual power creates this kind of bright light in the spiritual world where the evil spirits are attracted and they follow this bright light. And then eventually, when they go to the spiritual world, they actually go to attend 100-day workshop in the training center of Hungjinim and Demonim in the spiritual world. So these are the spirits who have cleansed their spiritual bodies and they're attending lecture and seminar. So when they attend seminar and lecture, the lecturer is not so boring there. Unlike in the physical world, maybe you sleep or you feel bored. But in the spiritual world, the lecture is like live video. They can actually see what happened. They can actually see through this video in the spiritual world how God created the universe, right? What happened in the history. The lecture of the chapter 1 to 16 of the divine principle is not only using words or PowerPoint, but has an actual like a video. And according to some testimonies from other spirits or who people who visited the spiritual world, even this video, even the words of people actually has color, even has a smell. Can you imagine how precise it is? When you listen to somebody talking, can you smell his words? Can you see the color of the words? Cannot. But in the spiritual world, whoa, very clear. Everything is very clear. So after 100-day workshop, wow, they can join the blessing and they can really become absolute good spirits, these evil spirits. Aju? So where is this being done? Our beloved true parents had opened and founded the Hyojong Chonwon complex, which is actually the completed holy ground, the restored Garden of Eden. Yes, our beloved true parents, because of their love for all of us, had opened the way for all of humankind to be saved. And this Hyojong Chonwon complex was created and founded by our beloved true parents. So look at that. So this is our Hyojong Chonwon complex. It's very beautiful, right? We can see the training center here. We have the CheonBo 1 and the hospital here. A very beautiful place. This is another angle when we look at the training center in Korea. Yes, the CheonBo 1 and the Cheonsim 1 you can see here during winter time. This is the Chonshimwon. I think this is autumn or springtime, huh? And the Tree of Love also. You can see here the Tree of Love and the spatial Heavenly Parent resting place. A Korean house, very beautiful. Huh? Some Buddhist monks who visited this place even testified the highest level of spiritual and calmness and feeling, no, can be felt in this place. Wow, even Buddhist monks testify to that. So we have here the largest indoor coliseum, no, in Korea, and that is our Peace World Center. This is another view, the top view of the Peace World Center, together with all the other places that were constructed based on True Parents' guidance. Yeah, this is the Silver Town. This is a nice place, no, for senior citizens and for leaders. And this is the SJ Magnolia department store. Now I think it's developing more and more, becoming more beautiful. Yes, and this is another view of the Hyojong Chonwon complex. You can see the palace, the Peace Palace from here, the Chonwon-gung under construction over here. Yes, how beautiful it is. We have the Tree of Blessing, the amazing place where when you pray, you can really feel, how do you say, the calmness of heart. We can really feel Heavenly Parent, no, with you. What a wonderful place to pray. The Tree of Blessing. Huh? And then just recently, I did not see this yet, the Tree of Hyojong, through Mother, assigned this special tree, Tree of Hyojong. Wow. I hope all of us can visit this Tree of Hyojong, no, after the pandemic. Aju? Do you want to go there, brothers and sisters? Yeah, let's go there together, right? May 2023, no, is the inauguration of the Chonwon-gung. All of us should be there. So this is the Chonshimwon, the center of Jongsong in the world, right? Through Mother assigned President Lee Gusong to be the president of Chonshimwon. This is really the place where we offer incredible Chongsong, most especially for the unification of the heavenly unified Korea, North and South Korea. So inside this Chonshimwon, there's a True Parents picture with the Hyojinim here, the eldest son. Now, it is Hyojinim who is leading the providence of CheonBo Works. Before, it's Hungjinim and the Temonim, but now True Parents assigned Hyojinim as the eldest son to really lead this providence. That's why it was even Hyojong came from the word, from the name of Hyojinim, right? Hyojinim, the march of loyalty and filial piety. Yes. So this is a very special place that should be inherited by every churches. Our beloved True Parents, when they were blessed in 1960 in their Korean attire, this is their blessing 1960 in the Western attire. And wow, many years passed, right? Many 52 years eventually. Still True Father and True Mother, very sweet, loving couple as husband and wife, showing a wonderful example to all of us. Yeah, I want also to be like this. I want to grow old together with my wife and really still love each other, really loving each other as beloved, no? Husband and wife, centered on God and True Parents. Wow, how beautiful that is. But now our beloved True Father is in the spiritual world. So anyway, True Mother is leading us now on the earth. And with True Father mobilizing all the heavenly forces in the spiritual world, supporting True Mother on earth, if we unite with True Mother, we can accomplish anything. Yes. Okay. So how to be successful as God's children? First, we have to practice Hyojong, which actually means develop personal relationship with Heavenly Parents and True Parents through prayer. Do not depend on your leader. Do not depend on your spiritual parent. Do not depend on your parents. Now, you have to develop a personal relationship with God and True Parents so that even though you're alone, you can be with Heavenly Parent. We can do that by always offering repentance prayer every day. You have to really pray every day. You have to make it as a habit. So, True Father, always pray 3 o'clock in the morning every day. So how about you? How about me? We have to find a time when we can really pray very well and very can feel closely, God with us. What time? we're supposed to pray every morning. So you have to decide, brothers and sisters. You have to do it by yourself, not your leader, not your parents, no, not through parents. You yourself, we ourselves individually should do this. Practice this kind of personal relationship with God and through parents. Adju? So next, purity and fidelity. You know, we have to always read through parents' speech every day aside from attending hunduke. So we need to develop this reading through parents' speech habit, no? Every day. You can assign like, okay, 21 minutes I will read through parents' speech, or 7 minutes I will read through parents' speech, even aside from attending hunduke. We have to develop this kind of habit so that we can fill our mind, no, with God's words, with the true parents' words, instead of this evil, how do you say, filthy and really very, very terrible environment that we're living in today, filled with so much, you know, sexual immorality kind of theme and advertisements. So we have to purify our mind by reading always through parents' speech. Can we do that, brothers and sisters? So next, we have to offer Chongsong every day. Be active. Take part in activities with sincerity. No? So we do donation, fundraising, witnessing, lecturing, joining the youth leadership training, the international leadership training program, HTM activities, and other activities with sincerity. No? Offering it as Chongsong, no, to heavenly parents. This is like living for others habit. You have to develop that living for others habit so that we can get rid of selfishness that we accumulated in our lineage for thousands or even millions of years. Okay? This is the way that we have to go if we want to become successful as sons and daughters of God. So, from the fall, which the cause of which is the lack of filial piety, and then eventually leading to misuse of sexual organs, we have to reverse this in our time today. We have to change it with what? Filial piety to God and through parents, and then practicing purity and fidelity. Eventually, we ourselves can also become true parents. This will be the beginning of good history in our lineage, no? As we join the blessing. So, brothers and sisters, let's practice absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience to God and true parents with life and death resolved on the foundation of absolute sexual purity. Adieu? Yes, absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience to God and true parents with life and death resolved on the foundation of absolute sexual purity. If we practice this, we will stay for a long time in this movement, and we will eventually be victorious up to the end, and we will never be taken away by Satan. So let's do that, beloved young leaders of this country. Thank you very much for listening. Kamsahamnida. Thank you very much.
Yes, once again, let's give a round of applause to our Dr. Edgar Tanate. Thank you so much, po, Dr. Edgar, for that wonderful lecture. We shall now proceed with our question and answer. I have here some questions. Sir Edgar, are you ready, po?
I'll do my best. Yeah.
Okay. These are the questions from people who do not want to share their details. They are so shy daw po, if possible not to share their name. Okay. First question. My parents already finished liberating and blessing our 430 generation of ancestors. And our family actively joining Chanyang Yoksa every CheonBo workshop. But somehow I can't avoid to feel insecurity and jealousy. How to overcome it? Okay, next. Again, my parents already finished liberating and blessing our 430 generation of ancestors, and our family actively joined Chanyang Yoksa every CheonBo workshop. but somehow I can't avoid to feel insecurity and jealousy. How to overcome it?
Yes, amazing. That is a very practical question. In fact, not only him must have experienced it. Maybe many of us who are listening or attending this workshop now have experienced that, right? So actually, the purpose of CheonBo Works or Chanyang Yoksa session is to just liberate or take away these evil spirits that are influencing us, disturbing us from fulfilling our responsibility. But basically, remember that this kind of problem of selfishness has been handed down from generation to generation, with our DNA and cells of our body always on the orientation of doing selfish things more than living for others, right? It's very easy to be selfish. You don't need to attend workshop in order to be selfish. Already naturally selfish, right? But if you want to live for others, you need to attend workshop. So not easy. Accumulated for 6,000 years in biblical years, maybe millions of years in actual years. So you cannot just do that without a certain process. You need a certain training. No, that's why even me, I attended many training, and I really feel that this training really helped me a lot. Really helped me a lot. You need to overcome many things, and in order to do this, to involve in training like this and overcoming, you need a certain very important attitude and mindset. And what is that? You should have a life and death resolve. Without this life and death determination, no, you cannot do it. Because can you imagine, we have been like inheriting this kind of for thousands of years. You cannot just do it in 1 day or 1 month or 1 year. According to True Father, actually, we need the training of 7 years. 7 years. And according to science also, our cells, all the cells in our body are completely replaced 100 after 7 years. Meaning, for example, in our nose, in our eyes, in our ears, no, the cells die at a certain date, and then they are replaced by new ones. So until when will all the cells of the body be totally be replaced by new cells? 7 years. And True Father said, you need training also to live for the sake of others for at least 7 years. When we really train ourselves, deny ourselves by going the public mission for 7 years, and the cells of our body are replaced by the new ones, and these new cells are, how do you say, trained to live for others more than to live for the self, trained to respond to spiritual matters more than the bodily desire. These cells in our bodies replacing all the other old cells in our body, because of our 7 years training with life and death resolved, absolute faith, absolute love, absolute obedience, and practicing absolute sexual purity and morality. Wow, we will really be a new person after 7 years. We need training, brothers and sisters. Not only CheonBo Works and the liberation of ancestors and blessing our ancestors and separating from evil spirits with our from our bodies. We need training, and 7 years is very important. Try doing it. You're still young. You still have time, right? Try do it. Your life will totally be how do you say, change, and you will really become the amazing leader of our nation and of the world for God and true parents. 감사합니다.
Ju, thank you so much, Dr. Edgar Tanate, for sharing us your insight. And always remember, if you want to overcome selfishness, you attend the workshop. So once again, Dr. Inchon Kim and CheonBo Heaven and Earth, thank you so much for giving us this workshop that we can overcome, more opportunity to overcome our selfishness. Ju, Okay, if you say Aju, thank you so much. Sir, we still have questions, but I am afraid due to time constraint, we overtime now. We will end our question and answer on this part. And thank you so much, everyone. Once again, show your love, your heart to Dr. Edgar Tanate. Thank you so much po. Yes. Okay, so moving on, we'll be serenading by an intermission number from the second Gen Blessed Child in the Philippines, none other than Miss Eunice Bastol, to give us her song rendition of the famous Hosanna. Let's watch this. Jude, thank you so much. Hosanna in the highest. Just a quick shout out to our Mrs. Manirat Kobayashi. She said, excellent and inspiring lecture. As always, Dr. Tanate. Thank you so much, P. Manirat. And shout out to Mrs. Lorife Lauron Sharma. She said, thank you so much, Dr. Edgar Tanate. To Sam Kalakmal, thank you so much, Dr. Robert Kittel and Dr. Edgar Tanate. No words to thank. And lastly, shout out to Nao Silong and Naomi. They said, let's go to YLT. Thank you so much, everyone, for your active participation. We shall now proceed to the next part of the program, the Pure Love Reflection. This will be given by the first Gen Philippine Youth member, Miss Joren Hosenya.
Good morning to our heavenly parents, to our true parents, and also good morning to all of our leaders, elders, especially brothers and sisters. I am Joren Hosenya. I'm 24 years old from Philippines. I became a member of our movement last October 2015. When I was attending college, I was invited by my instructor to attend a leadership training seminar. At the time, my only intention why I joined is to boost my self-confidence, to become an effective leader since I was part of student government at the time. We were taught internally, and I am reminded and showed that world peace is possible, not just by honing outstanding leaders, but also by establishing ideal families. As we go on further by attending trainings, seminars, programs, and missions, I realized that establishing an ideal family is not just simply by getting married and becoming a responsible mother and wife. As a pioneer or as a first generation, we have to sacrifice a lot and become selfless as much as we could. Of course, it's not an easy road for me, and I know it's the same for everyone as well. And 3 months before I graduated, that's December, able to celebrate Christmas with our family, and some of us went back to our hometown, and that time I became a home member. It wasn't intentional at first, and I wasn't able to report back to Manila after that because I don't have enough fare to return. And also at that time, I was struggling internally, and I wasn't able to do well with our fundraising activities. That's when I took the chance to take a break and fix everything I could within myself. I graduated and I'm able to experience working outside, and I tell you, for someone who is trying to be reserved or preparing to receive your future spouse, it's not an easy environment to be with because there is a lot of temptation. So yeah, as I mentioned, the reason why I decided to take a break is to fix whatever I could for myself. And that's when I gave myself a mission, and that is to fix my relationship with others outside the movement. You know, chapter 2 problems. I don't have a boyfriend, but there is this one brother that I made a promise with back when I was in high school. That time he is trying to court me, but I said, let's wait until we turn 18, and he agreed. I cannot forget that since that is the first promise I made with other person except from my parents. As I grew up, I entered college. I met World Corp. I learned about pure love advocacies. I learned about what is the meaning of true love, ideal family, and many things. So that promise became nothing to me because I know as well that many things will change over time, and he may even forget about it. You know, he is one of my challenges, and I wouldn't be able to move forward if I kept that promise along with me. I do experience to be in a relationship when I was in high school as well. I think that is when I was 13 or 14 years old. So young, right? I was encouraged by my friends, and out of guilt, I gave in. Out of curiosity, I did it, and I don't like it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I can see now what is the reason why there were lots of cases of teenage pregnancies, and if there were anything from those relationships. I only experienced holding hands, and that happens only once or twice, and I felt like I'm being forced to do it. And that's the time that I promised to my mother that when I entered college, I will not commit myself to any relationship. And I remember that time my mother said if I did it, if I was successful, she will serve lechon. But unfortunately, we cannot afford it. And that's where the promise with a brother came into. So going back, I gave myself a task, and that is to meet that brother and break that promise. And I'm proud of myself that I did it. And one baggage is crossed out of my luggage. My second challenge is how can I go back to the center? Because I became a home member, I feel ashamed for so many reasons. Plus, I'm thinking that time if I stayed home, I can do a lot of things to help my family. And I'm thinking that I can work a lot to the point that I don't care if I'm not able to have my own family, because all I cared for is them. But after knowing about divine principle, I learned how important it is to have a family, and in my point of view, not having a family is a sin and super selfish. All the words of wisdom, internal guidance, through parents' words, all the words that I can remember from my elders, all of them were repeating in my mind. I remember this question that they ask us: what is your purpose to begin with? What is the purpose why you are doing this? My answer: I'm doing this for my ancestors. I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for my future descendants. In reality, whenever I try to compare the possibilities if I continue my mission or not, I cannot actually see where I'll be heading to if I continue living outside of the movement, because I know every move is a risk. I don't even have anyone to guide me. Even if my parents is there, I can't even ask them, and all I can think of is work. Whereas if I continue with my mission, there is a path that I can follow. And again, I realized that this is the merit that we all got from true parents for pioneering the way. At the end of the day, if we can see the fruit of our labor, if we follow their examples. Between those two choices, I was faltering which one I should choose. The path where I can do what I want, or the path where everything will be resolved but needs a few sacrifices. It was obvious to me which one is the best choice, but I still spent time thinking and crying about it. And where I am now. I am here in front of you sharing my life of faith, and there were ups and downs up until now with regards to my spiritual life, but I am grateful because I have my Abel guiding me. If not because of my leader, maybe I was back home again and I don't know what I might be doing. So sometimes I have concerns that I'm unable to share with my leader, but my leader always got me first. Sometimes I cannot help but think, is my leader good at predictions, or can he read my mind like that? Sometimes we have to admit to ourselves that there is still a lot that we do not know and we need guidance with. And that's why we have to ask our leaders, our adults. I wanted to tell you that it's okay. It's okay. Even if it's hard to report to our leader, we still have to practice denying ourselves. And that's also what I am saying to myself. And I'm still not good. I'm very far from good. And that's also the reason why I still think that I don't deserve to be much. But, up until when will I be like this? Am I not doing anything to be deserving of the blessing? Even you ask yourself, are you not doing anything in preparation? One of my favorite words whenever I attend blessing seminar is this: instead of waiting for the right person, be the right person. While waiting for the matching result, what my leader did is he gave me the opportunity to take care of 2 second generations. And is there any best way to prepare yourself for the future other than this? That's why I am encouraging everyone, if there are children at the place where you are staying at right now, please take this opportunity to take care of them, learn how to become a parent. And I cannot really describe how advantageous it is to learn how to take care of them, but surely those children will become your teacher. They will teach you a lot of things. I want to share more, but it seems that I'm taking too much time now. But allow me to repeat a few things. Whatever you are struggling with right now, spiritual problems, chapter 2 problems, family problems, whatever it is, always remember why you followed your parents' path. Only then you will know what you should do. You are not alone. You have your Abel. They are the direct representative of true parents. Report and you will receive guidance. After that, strengthen your resolve. If it's hard, take it slowly but surely. I know you can do it. We can do it. So that's all. Thank you very much for listening. 감사합니다. 사랑합니다.
My God, I'm so speechless. Such honest, heartfelt, inspiring, pure love reflection from someone who is preparing for matching and preparing for blessing. Thank you so much, Joren Josenia. And I know many people are so inspired. Many people who is preparing themselves for matching are very inspired with your testimony of keeping your purity and being honest with heaven. Thank you so much. Once again, let's give her a round of applause. Okay. My God, I cannot move on. I am still so inspired with that pure love reflection. Thank you once again. But yeah, I need to usher you to the final, okay, to the last part of our program in the day 1 of our CheonBo Youth Education Program. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome a very special brother and leader in the whole Asia Pacific. To give us a congratulatory or closing message, it is my honor to welcome my teen brother. We were born on the same day, October 31, 1986. Okay, Dr. Kim Sritang, the president of IAYFP Asia Pacific, to give us the closing message. Let's welcome him with a round of applause.
Wow, that is amazing. That very beautiful. Thank you very much, my dear brothers, Ronnie, Sudusta. We are the same birthday, the same days, so we're the same age. So we are take similar and the same responsibility together with you. Thank you very much. And my heart really congratulate to all our leaders, our lecturers, and all participants, youth and second generation. You did amazing job. I can see over 200 people are in this Zoom call. So that is the first achievement of today that I can congratulate you, because that is the showjong of participant, the showjong of attendant. That is our first attendant to Heavenly Parent. It's not to the Zoom, it's not to anybody, but to Heavenly Parent, because we are receive a lot through the showjong lectures, through different testimonies, that very beautiful testimony from our sister from the Philippines. And I also can see that now we are learning all together. So my question is, are you ready to, to multiply, to practice, to multiply that shojong, that purity to other people? That is really my question of today, even though I congratulate you, but I put that question to you so that we can carry on for tomorrow and for the future. So our true mother is really missing every one of you. Every day she pray and she sings, she sometimes sleep and wake up at night with tear her pillow wet, because she miss every one of you. She miss all the youth, all the children around the world, and also in Asia Pacific 1 and 2. So she missing us, and that's why our CheonBo Training Center, Dr. Kim In-chun, he organized this workshop so that we can feel connected to Mother and we can pray to her, and she can feel our love, our comfort to her. My dear brother and sister, as now we are preparing ourselves for the end of 2021 and coming to the 2022, especially to offer the celebration of True Parent Birthday and Foundation Day. So this workshop is really amazing for us to prepare our Cheongsong, our heart, especially our Shojong, and the purity for us, that is very important. As I said, our first ultimate responsibility is now to attend Heavenly Parent to Parent, and today we can show our attendance, and then we can serve, we can act, and then we can live accordingly and multiply, and we can lead. So all together, when we fulfill that all the conditions, that we live in the CheonBo realm, that close to Heavenly Parent and to Parent. So once again, thank you Heavenly Parent to Parent and Dr. Kittels and all lecturers for giving these beautiful lectures and occasion and learning. My request is, as we have around 200 people by now, so please, after this Zoom call, after this workshop, log into your Facebook and share your beautiful picture of today's program in your Facebook page or Facebook account with your beautiful smile and happiness and brightness, and put the word Shojong and purity. And then if you have questions, please contact me if you want to know more, or you put the link, any kind of link to that one. And then I believe every one of you have at least 100 friends on your Facebook, and at least overnight tomorrow there will be over 100 people will see your post or will read your post, and I believe within tomorrow there will be over 20,000 people see the word Shojong and the word purity. If you believe so, if you think so, if you think that's good for True Mothers, that's good for Heavenly Parent to Parent, and good for our nation, please do so after this Zoom. So that is my biggest congratulation. I will keep it for tomorrow to congratulate that you will reach over 100 people after you share. So once again, congratulations to everyone, and thank you all our leaders and everyone for this great, amazing workshop. Thank you very much. On behalf of President Dunkley, we would like to thank you and congratulate you all. Thank you very much.
Aju, thank you so much, Dr. Kim Sri Tang, for that wonderful congratulatory and closing message, and encouraging us to reach out to many people by posting in our Facebook pages, in our Instagram account, in our Twitter, and perhaps in our YouTube as well. Thank you so much. And this concludes the first day. Okay, first day. I would like to say thank you to 190 who still stay with us despite the overtime schedule we had today. This is the first day of the CheonBo Youth Education, and I am your MC, Sir Ronnie Sodusta, the president of IAYSP in Asia Pacific 2 region, saying thank you all. And before we close, I would like to announce that tomorrow we will have the second day. The MC is Dr. Kim Sri Tang, and we will have the actual Chanyang Yoksa session. So please wear white shirt, long pants, when you attend the workshop tomorrow because we will have the actual Chanyang Yoksa session. And please enter the same link 30 minutes prior to the start of our program. We will start 3 p.m. Bangkok time. Around 3:30, please log in so we can start on time and we can finish hopefully on time tomorrow. It's been a big privilege to serve you all together with all the staff forming the CheonBo Youth Education, centering on our Dr. Incheon Kim, Dr. Edgar Tanate, Dr. Robert Kittel. We would like to say thank you for being with us today. Thank you so much, and let's give hand to everyone.
감사합니다.
감사합니다. Okay, this concludes. You can unmute yourself and you can say your greetings to everyone. Thank you so much and see you tomorrow.
감사합니다.
Thank you, Dr. Kim Incheon. Thank you,
Thank you very much.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Arenita.
Tanya, thank you so much.
Glad to see you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Oscar,
See you tomorrow. Good evening.
Thank you so much.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year. Thank you so much, from Cebu.
Thank you so much, Philippines.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
YSP, Asia 1 and Asia 2, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kitten.
USP, P1, AP2, family, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sebe.
Thank you to our translators.
Thank you so much, MC. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank